Hey everybody, this is the Facebook Ads with the Twang podcast. I'm your host, Ben Blackman, and today we're talking about why now is the best time to start running your Facebook ads. Here comes episode 59. Facebook Ads with the Twang is dedicated to taking the often overcomplicated process of creating simple, successful Facebook ads, breaking them down step by step in less than 10 minutes at a time. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to episode 59, and yes, as always, I'm excited to have you, but I'm really excited on this one because the fact is when I was writing out the outline, I really was getting fired up. I was like, yes, this is good stuff. This is stuff you need to know, and the fact is that now is the best time that you could start running your Facebook ads, and I want to explain why. Now, all that being said, let me just tell you that this episode may run over the normal 10 minutes, okay? So don't give me a lot of flack on it. All right, there's a lot to go over. I will say this, if you need it under 10 minutes, then turn it up to 2 times speed. That's what I always do. So anyway, if you're watching this on video real quick, what you're seeing is actually a test. I'm testing out some new features and stuff in Facebook ads, and I'll share these with you later, but I always like to do it with my own money before I recommend anything to you, so I was just kind of have the results up there. There's not going to be much to view on this particular episode if you're watching this, although I am going to go over something towards the end which might be helpful, so you may want to see that. But let's dive right in and start talking. Oh, and by the way, there's going to be some resources here, and you really probably want to check those out on in the show notes. You can go to One Focus Marketing, that's onefocusmarketing.com/episode 59, all lowercase, and check it out. But the thing about it, these resources are some of the things I'm going to recommend to really help your Facebook ads just take off. Okay, so is the sky falling? That's the question, right? And I mean the Facebook ad sky. Is it falling? And the answer is, yeah, probably. Or at least it is for some, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with this old thing about when to buy stocks in the stock market, but when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy stocks. Well, that's the same with Facebook ads. Right now, there's blood in the streets. Facebook ad costs, went up 43%. They're probably going to keep going up. Facebook's in trouble, so they're limiting their targeting for certain things. You can't get in front of the same people. They're going to have to make up their revenue somewhere, and there's only one place for them to do that, and that's through advertiser costs. That all that stuff's happening. That being said, what's going to happen is you're going to see this mass exodus of people who are running Facebook ads. And I'm talking about people who are running Facebook ads on their own. I'm talking about people who are quote-unquote guru-ish. You're going to see all these people get out of the business or do something else. And the reason is simple. When any new advertising platform comes along, okay, and I'm talking about all the way, I'm talking about newspaper ads or TV or radio or whatever, Google. When those come along, there's always a bunch of people that rush in because they say, because there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there. It's inexpensive usually. You can get in front of people in a different way that nobody's ever seen, so that makes it exciting. You don't have to have super compelling copy, video, or images. You can pretty much throw anything out there, and initially it'll work because it's new. Same thing with Facebook ads. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but most of the Facebook ads, at least the ones most I see in my newsfeed, are horrible. The copy's not compelling. The image is a stock image. It's just not. There's nothing to it, right? It's like there's no thought put into it. It was just like, hey, let's just throw the ad out there, and once they see the company name, they'll love it. Well, that doesn't work that way, right? So now what's happening is that people are actually having to start learning how to market, okay, and have a strategy, right? That didn't occur to people before. They were just using cookie cutter campaigns and copying them and doing them over and over and over. All right, and that works for a while, but that time is going away. So because of all this, and because the ad costs are going up and everything, and Facebook ain't going to take the hit, right? They're gonna keep increasing the cost till they get what they need out of it. What does it mean for you? And that's a great question. So it means that understanding how to do Facebook ads the right way is more important than ever, right? Understanding how to I'm not talking about necessarily the input, but the overall strategy behind it. I mean, it's way more, the psychology behind it is incredibly important. So I'm going to give you some tips, tricks, and those kinds of things, and tell you why running Facebook ads is now is going to be, it could be the best thing that you do all year. And part of the reason is because all these people are getting out, it's going to create a void that you can fill and now dominate your market by, doing good Facebook ads. Okay, but there's a little work to it. I mean, you're not just going to throw stuff out there. You have to be willing to do a little work. So before you even think about running Facebook ads, you absolutely, and if you've been running them, that's okay. You can use some of your results. But before you think about running your next ad, you must know your ideal customer inside and out. If you don't have that written down, you don't have somewhere where you've outlined who your ideal customer is, don't start your Facebook ads yet. Okay, do that first. It's not the part that people want to do, because most of the people I talk to, not everybody, but a lot of people I talk to, they're like, oh, well, I'm my own ideal customer, so I know who I am, so that's, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, you're going to miss out on a ton of business and a ton of opportunity. And I'm going to give you a quick example. and I may have mentioned this before, but I have a client that I took on, and she told me, she said, well, I'm my own ideal client. I mean, I'm looking for people just like me. And I was like, okay. So we analyzed her website traffic and her customer list and that kind of thing. And it turned out there was like this big, most of the people skewed toward liking this particular movie actor. Okay. Now you might be thinking, well, what's the movie actor have to do with anything? Well, I'll explain that in just a second. But that they really skewed toward liking this particular movie actor. And when I mentioned it to her, she goes, well, that doesn't matter. That's not who we're not targeting them for movies and actors and stuff. And she said, besides, I don't like them anyway, so I don't want to target them. And I said, let me run a test to it. And I said, the reason is because when you select your targeting in Facebook, it doesn't mean that people are thinking about what you're targeting. So in other words, and I'm just going to throw this out there just as an example, but so let's just say you're targeting a movie actor, and let's just say it's Robert De Niro, right? It doesn't mean when you're targeting them that they're thinking about Robert De Niro, right? They don't know why a Facebook ad showed up in their newsfeed. They don't know that it showed up in their newsfeed because they have an interest in Robert De Niro, okay? They're just their own person. They're just seeing an ad just like you and I do. So what we can do with that is, with that knowledge, is because you know that nobody's targeting Robert De Niro, right? There's no ads out there, or very few, that have Robert De Niro as a targeting interest. But if we use that as a targeting interest because we know that our ideal client tends to like Robert De Niro, then now we're going to be able to get in front of them for a much lower cost because we did our research than everybody else out there who's targeting the same interests. So in this particular case, this person was targeting coaches. That's their ideal audience. Well, if they knew that coaches like other targeting interests like Tony Robbins and Amy Porterfield and people like that, Marie Forleo, well, everybody's targeting those. That's why it costs so much, right? But when you're targeting Robert De Niro, nobody's targeting that guy because he's not a coach. So, it's incongruent in your head, so you think you shouldn't be doing it. But it's the exact opposite of that, right? It's kind of like if you're doing weight loss, okay? If you're doing something around weight loss, everybody's targeting, weight loss things like Beachbody, or they're targeting, Dr. Oz maybe, or, other weight loss type people, even though Dr. Oz may not be exactly weight loss, but that kind of genre, right? Don't target McDonald's. Right? Nobody who's eating McDonald's thinks they should be eating McDonald's. Okay? Everybody who's eating McDonald's knows they shouldn't be eating it. And there's a ton of people out there who like McDonald's that they desperately want help with weight loss. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at. You have to think outside the box here. You can't be blinded by, have blinders on and just keep on fooling around with the same thing that everybody else is doing. So I know I harped on that quite a bit, and I hope it made sense. You reach out to me if it didn't. So, that's how you're going to start to dominate your market, okay? Now, what if you don't know how to develop a strategy, right? And by the way, understanding your ideal customer is important, but you also have to have a super compelling offer. If you don't, I wouldn't run Facebook ads. It has to be something that's a no-brainer, right? And if you haven't tested that, you need to do that, sooner rather than later, and validate that what you're offering, that people actually want it. It's the right message for the right market. That's what you have to do. All right, so now if you don't have a strategy, or maybe you're completely new to Facebook ads or whatever, what do you need to dominate the market? Well, again, got to do your audience research first. Number one, all right, got to do it. Number two, learn how to write compelling copy. If I could tell you one skill that you could really focus on to help improve your business, is writing compelling copy. Now maybe that doesn't sound fun to you, maybe you don't like to write ad copy. I understand. Okay, then you need to hire somebody that knows how to. But either way, copy is important. Now if you're going to learn it on your own, you can buy a bunch of courses and stuff, but reality of it is copy hasn't changed over the years. The same copy books that people learned how to write copy from, 75 years ago, 100 years ago, they're still as valid today, right? So one book that's really good that I keep is by Joe Sugarman, and it's called the Adweek Copywriting Handbook. It is it's simple, okay, but it's really easy to understand and implement into your copywriting. And again, I'll put that in the show notes. Now, the third thing is you need to think about what Facebook is. It's an engagement platform where people are coming to escape their lives. I mean, that's really what it is, right? I guess my point is that when people are coming on Facebook, they're not trying to buy something. They're not trying to do anything. They're just trying to do something else to avoid whatever else they're need to do, I guess. So when you think about that in terms of your ad copy or your images, you have to think about that when you're writing. And your images, that's why stock images often aren't super compelling unless they don't look like every other ad, right? Sometimes you can do stuff with dogs or kids or something like that that'll make it work really well. So but I would encourage you to use more of yourself in your Facebook ads, okay? More of yourself in your images, your family, that kind of thing, so that they can connect with you better. And so I think that's important. Remember, they're trying to engage, right? And that's a way for them to engage with you. You have to give amazing content. So especially if you're a service provider, because a lot of service providers really try to put out content. And if you're doing that, like whether that's a free opt-in or whatever, it needs to be amazing. It can't just be mediocre. It can't just be good. It has to be awesome. And here I'm going to kind of give you an example. But a couple years ago, there was a big Facebook group. There's like 30,000 people, and it was all entrepreneurs. And the owner of the group would allow people to offer their freebies once a week. And so you would get a huge number of people posting links to their freebies. So I decided as a test to go in and opt in for all of them. Took a long time. Okay. And I wanted to tell you, half of them I never got the freebie, right? Half of them never even got it. Most of them on the thank you page, all they said was, thank you, check your email inbox. That was it. They didn't do anything else. The ones that I did get, and some of them, the ones that I did get were just, I don't know how to say it. They were terrible. I mean, they didn't provide me any value. I felt like I gave up my email address, and I walked away with nothing. And now they have my email address, right? So that's how it felt. And you don't want people to be thinking that about your content. Okay, you want them to feel like it was valuable. Now, I will say this. I would say probably about 5% of what I opted in for, I got it when I thought I was going to get it, and it was exactly what I expected, and I loved it. Okay, the rest of the stuff I could have done without. So that's not where you want to be. The other thing is, stop trying to give away things that nobody wants. Okay, so if you're trying to get people on your email list and you're just doing these free things that everybody else is doing that you see in your own news feed, please stop doing that. Okay, you need to come up with another way. So if everybody's doing it on PDF, then you need to do a video. If everybody's doing a video, then go back and do a PDF, right? You want to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, and make sure it's amazing content, and make sure it is something that they're thinking, man, that was free. I can't believe they're not charging for that. That's what you want them to walk away with. Okay. And then next, you want to map out your strategy. Okay, so make sure you understand your strategy. And I talk a lot about retargeting, which is showing ads to people who have already seen ads from you, or who have already been on your email list, or who have already visited your website, right? And I go over some retargeting strategies in several episodes here on the Facebook Ads with a Twain podcast, so you can check those out. But your strategy might be something like this. You run an ad, and they click on the link, and they go to a blog post. And then you retarget them. In other words, because you've been able to track them going to your blog post, you retarget them and show them another ad, an ad to your offer, an ad to get on your email list. Then they get on your email list, and you send them a follow-up email sequence, right? And you got to remember, maybe 70% of the people never open the emails. So you also, in addition to sending them the follow-up email sequence, you run another ad to those same people. Okay, those people who opted into your email list, so that they get another chance to engage and interact with you. So that's what I'm talking about. That's a strategy. Okay, that's what you need to come up with and design, and make sure that it's going to fit what you're promoting. Now, this last part, and this is a shameless self-promotion, and I'm not against that at all, but if you're new to Facebook ads, or maybe you're just not sure if you're doing them right or whatever, you can buy my Facebook Ads with a Twain for beginners Facebook course. I mean, it is literally step by step. Okay, it's really good if you're beginners. I mean, it's not bad if you're past the beginning stage, but if you're a beginner, it's really good for you. I mean, and there's other really good courses out there. You don't have to buy mine, buy another one. Okay, but just make sure it's from somebody that you really respect. And something I would look for is somebody who's doing constant updates. If they're not doing updates to it, it may not be worth it, only because Facebook updates often. And so, what Facebook ads and features and things that you could use a month ago, you can't do today, or vice versa. There's new things. So I'm doing lifetime updates so that, when new things come out, I'll let you know if you need to be using them or don't use them or whatever. So, and the same thing with YouTube videos, right? If you're looking at YouTube videos, most of those aren't updated. So you might get some information, but it may not be the most recent information. I'm not saying you can't start there. I'm just saying it's probably not a great idea. And I mean, I'm doing this for like 70% off. I mean, it's crazy, right? In fact, hold on just a second. And for those of you who are watching, I'll show you real quick. Just give me one sec here. So hopefully now you can see my screen, and you can see the course. I mean, if you get Facebook Ads with a Twain for beginners and you see the course, I mean, this is, I talked to you about how to use it, what to expect, services that you'll need, setting up your account, the Facebook pixel, which that's what you do your tracking, how to custom conversions, that's more about tracking, how to identify your ideal audiences, custom audience creation, lookalike audience creation. Those are all things you need to know. The copy, images, video ads, and then there's all these videos right here about objectives and audience input and placements and setting a budget and optimizing, and then the metrics. I mean, this is a 6-module deal that you're getting for 70% off. It's crazy. So, I definitely think that, I hope you check that out, and if it's a good fit for you, do it. All right. So I'm done with the shameless self-promotion on that. So let me jump back to what we were doing before. But the biggest thing is, you've got to get started, and you've got to measure your progress. Okay, if you put a Facebook ad out there and it doesn't work, or you don't get the results that you want, look at each part of the process, each part of the funnel, as they call it, right? And only fix the parts that are broken. You don't necessarily have to fix the whole thing, right? Rare is the occasion that you just run one Facebook ad and it hits a home run. It's a process, okay? And something you need to remember is that I can't think of any super successful businesses or entrepreneurs or anything that do not use paid ads. Okay, that everybody does. Everybody who's super successful, they use paid ads. If you're trying to get by on a shoestring budget, I totally understand. I mean, you can only do what you can do. The thing is paid ads helps take your business to the next level so that you can grow. It's an investment that you're doing. If you're looking at it like an expense that you're trying to manage, then it's going to be tough for you to grow. It's an investment to grow your business. You're going to get data back. That data may be good, bad, or ugly. Okay, but it's still, you're going to get information back, and you can use that data to help you the next time. If you're trying to do it all organically, you're going to it's going to take a really long time, and it's going to be a tough road to go. It just is. Okay. just remember that not all the successful entrepreneurs and businesses I was talking about use Facebook ads, but they're all using paid ads of one form or another. So that's all I have for this episode. I know we ran over a little bit. I appreciate your patience. Really excited for this stuff. If you have any questions, let me know, and get started. I'll see you next time on episode 60.